The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is one of my favorite franchises of all time and has gone through many different incarnations throughout the years, including a few movies, one of which is the subject of this video. The Michael Bay produced, not directed, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014, with a critical reception that at best can be summed up with this clip from Turtles Forever.
You know, this wagon isn't half bad. It ain't half good either.
Which is pretty much where my thoughts fall on this movie, since I don't think it's the best, but I also definitely would not call it the worst entry in the entire franchise. I do, however, have some problems with it. So for those who do not remember, or just don't know, here's a quick recap of what happened in the movie. At the start of the movie, April O'Neil is established to be a low-ranking reporter who's been trying to cover and gather news around the Foot Clan. After an investigation in the docks, she witnesses the Foot Clan being attacked by what she assumes are vigilantes. After noticing a symbol left behind on one of the shipping containers, she is encouraged to pursue the case even further. After this, she attends a charity event held by Eric Sachs, after which his master, Orokusaki, aka the Shredder, arranges a hostage situation in the New York City subway, where April just happens to be as well. There, she witnesses the Foot being attacked again by the vigilantes. Once that has happened, she follows them up a rooftop where she discovers that they are large humanoid mutant turtles who are ninjas and also teenagers. After the turtles give her a stern warning, she realizes that they are the same turtles that her father and his then colleague Eric Sachs experimented on along with a rat named Splinter, who reveals that he somehow learned ninjutsu from a book someone flushed down the sewer and then taught it to the turtles. Then they are attacked within their sewer lair by the Shredder and the Foot Clan. A fight ensues between Shredder and Splinter, which leaves the turtles divided, with Raphael being the only one left. At Sachs' estate, the turtles are imprisoned, where he explains that he plans to use the mutagen in their blood to cure a disease his company manufactured so he can sell the cure for loads of money after the Shredder releases it over New York City. Meanwhile, April and Raphael sneak in with the help of Vern, where they help bring out the turtles. They have an action-packed chase down the snowy mountain, the best scene of the movie plays out, and the final fight with the Shredder commences, where April kicks him off the tower after she had knocked out Eric Sachs, stopping him from unleashing the plague. In the final scene, Michelangelo accidentally blows up Vern's van, and the turtles say goodbye to April until the next adventure. Upon rewatching the movie for this video, I think one of the main problems I have with the 2014 Ninja Turtle movie is the plot. Now, I don't think it's the worst one ever conceived, but at the same time, I don't think it's the best one to go with when it comes to introducing a new movie incarnation of the characters that's also meant to kick off a new trilogy. But first, I am going to go over some of the positive parts of this movie, both because I don't want to be an entirely negative channel, but also because the positives are admittedly pretty sparse. So first, I will mention that I do like all the actors chosen for the turtles. I think Splinter is the only design that actually works in my opinion. Some of the action and fight scenes are pretty neat, and like many others, I do love the elevator rap scene. But now let us move on to the negatives, of which there are quite a few. Starting again with the plot, the nicest thing I can say about it is that the whole villains try and unleash a manufactured plague upon a city to then sell the cure would be a much better suited storyline for a 20-minute episode of one of the TV shows, and not necessarily an hour and 40-minute movie. Speaking of which, I also felt that it was maybe 10 minutes too long and should have maybe instead be an hour and 30 minutes and not an hour and 40. Megan Fox, in my opinion, was also not a great choice for April. Other than that, one of the biggest problems with this movie that the majority of people can agree on is the designs. Starting with the turtles, most people, myself included, would agree that the main problem area are their faces. They suffer from the same kind of uncanny valeness that the original live-action Sonic design had, except that these weren't lucky enough to get redesigned during production. Also, their clothes are just a little bit too cluttered. Then there is the Shredder. Now first, some context is in order. At first, it was planned for William Fichtner's character Eric Sachs to be Shredder, but they received a backlash for it, so they changed it at the last moment and then re-edited and reshot the movie so it seemed like Sachs and Shredder were separate characters. Now, I think it was a good thing that they didn't go through with making Sachs Shredder, as it would have made him a Shredder in name only, or a C-note if you will. But besides that, I think the main problem with this version of the Shredder is the same thing that Godzilla Mendoza brought up in his video about this movie, which is that the power suit he is wearing would turn even the most untrained white belt into a complete badass. Except that it's not even really true, because if you look at his fight with Splinter, he still gets bodied pretty hard at some parts, even though he is wearing all of this. Ironically enough though, his armor in the 2016 sequel to this movie, Out of the Shadows, has the exact opposite problem in that it's way too stripped down by comparison. This leads us to the redesigns, which were all done by the immensely talented Timothy S. And as you can see, for the Shredder redesign, we tried to strike a good balance between the 2014 armor and the Out of the Shadows armor, while also taking some inspiration from this early concept designed by Aaron McBride. Same thing for the turtles, but as you can see, they've been given beaked mouths like this concept designed by Anthony Francisco, back when they were going to be the Teenage Alien Ninja Turtles, or Teenage Ninja Turtlords if you prefer. Now, based on what I said concerning the casting of April in the official version, you might be asking whom I would have cast as April instead. Well, in this case, my choice would be actress Jane Levy, both because she looks more like April, but also because she easily has the range to pull off a character like April, in my opinion at least. But now that we've got that out of the way, tune in for the next 2 parts where I go over the plot in detail, hopefully coming out eventually. Until then, see you next time.